So, very good morning to one and all.
Good morning, sir.
Sir.
Good
Very
morning,
good
sir.
morning. Very good morning. Very good morning. So, we are getting to our today's session. I'm going to share my presentation, share my screen in turn, so that you are able to get my presentation. So, students, are you able to see my presentation?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, fine. Thanks for the response. Uh, so, this is what we are going to see. Before that, we are going to see our subject, course code and course name. The course code allotted for you is UDITO10, and then the course name is Ethical Hacking and Cyber Security. Then today we are going to discuss about the third topic under unit number 1, that is challenges and constraints under cyber security environment. That is what we are going to discuss today. The last class we completed our second topic, that is IG internet governance. So Ajanta, uh, attendance I planned at the start and end of the session. Then introduction about myself, etiquettes to be followed, learning objective and outcome, then recap of last class, introduction about the topic, then explanation about the topic, then summarization if any, Q&A if any, then feedback if any. This is what the session I planned for today. So as per our agenda, I'm going to take your attendance. So please unmute your audio, students, so that you are able to uh, mark your presence. So answer attendance, guys. Adarsh, Akash, Jay Surya,
Yes, sir.
Jay Surya,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
present. Yeah, okay. Mageshwaran, Azhar, Mohammad Azhar.
Present, sir.
Yeah, okay. Shoaib,
Present, sir.
Arvind Kumar,
Present, sir.
Taranraj,
Present, sir.
Ranjit, Mining Ranjit, Pavendan,
Present, sir.
Antonio,
Present, sir.
Vishnu,
Present, sir.
Ardra,
Present, sir.
Noel,
Present, sir.
Hari, Nitish Balaji,
Present, sir.
Raghavinder,
Present, sir.
Sri Veeramani, Shubham Padi,
Sir.
Yogesh, yeah,
Yes,
okay.
sir.
Yogeshwaran,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
yeah, okay. Shivaguru, Bankar Aniruddha,
Present, sir.
Krishna Kumar, Omkar,
Present, sir.
Ranjit Kumar, Petroleum,
Present, sir.
Danuj, Yedudev,
Present, sir.
Aston Caleb,
Present, sir.
Kamlesh,
Present, sir.
Milan Magato,
Present, sir.
Suraj,
Sir, Tanush present, sir. Sir,
yeah,
Tanush.
okay. I noted. Suraj, Pradeep,
Yes, sir.
Shobit,
Yes, sir.
Vijay,
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, Raghavendra present, sir.
Sir, Suraj present, sir.
Wait. Okay. So let's go to our session. Yeah. So next one, introduction about myself and etiquettes to be followed. So far we discussed so many times. So I'm going to skip those slides. Then learning objective and outcome. So before getting into objective and outcome, students, am I audible to everyone?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, because last class you told that some distortions are there. If any distortions or distractions, stop me and tell that I am somewhat distorted. Okay, but so that we will get all my presentation and the lecture as well. Okay, but then coming back to our agenda, that is learning objective and then learning outcome. So here to expose the objective, to expose the awareness of cybersecurity issues and challenges in IT environment. So this is what we are going to discuss today. What are the challenges available? Then after studying this, the outcome is to understand the fundamentals of network security, security architecture, and threats. In turn, you are going to strengthen this part, that is your security architecture, and then you are going to protect the threats in turn as well. So this is what the learning objective and outcome. Then next one is the recap of the last class. So I will going to just give the outline of the last class, whatever we discussed. So in the last class, we started our unit, second topic under unit number 1, that is internet governance, in short, IG. So internet governance means that is the governing party at the higher end, because in each and every organization we are having jurisdiction, that is ISO we are having. After that we are having jurisdictionary law. After that we are having some legislative something. So the higher most end, that is ultimatum, is this internet governance. So this internet governance going to take care about all the ISO jurisdiction, LA, those are all taken care by internet governance. If there is any malfunction within this three, then the IG comes into the picture. This is what. So what are the layers that are available with this IG means there are three layers available. So the first layer we call that as an infrastructure layer, that is telecommunication infrastructure. Then the second one is the technical standards. That is what are the rules or what are the protocols you are going to follow. Then the last layer, that is the topmost layer, is the content and application standards. So in the sense, you are going to give the front end to the user. You are going to give your programming, maybe the front end and back end as well, to the user. That is, you are going to present to the user. So the user visit the home page, and then maybe some cases they are going to log in. They are going to enter username password. Some cases they are going to scroll down the news feeds at all. Those are called as the home pages. They are the content and application standards. This is what the three layers. So IG going to concentrate on these three layers. Then next one, we are having so many divergence in the sense we are already discussed about the standards, that is cyber security attribute standards. So there are three attribute standards available. The first one is confidentiality, and the second one is integrity, and the last one is availability. So in each and every particular security attributes or attribute standards, we are having some, or we are going to face some threats. So what are the threats available? Means under confidentiality, the main issues or the main threat is going to be a phishing. Then the second one, integrity. In the integrity, the threat going to be face is MITM. That is, I am telling about the main issues. MITM. That is man in the middle. That is what. And at last, we are having availability. So in the availability, the main threat we are going to face is DDoS. That is distributed denial of service. So this is what. So these are some security standards, the attribute standards. So this attribute standards also going to pray for some threats under cyberspace. This is what we discussed, and at last we are discussed one case study with the French government and Romania government and also the Germany government. So for the ransomware attack, and then at last we have the some ecosystem, IG ecosystem. So the IG ecosystem in the sense all the things relevant to the users. That is, user belongs to the operators, user belongs to the vendors. User means you and me. That's the end users. So they are relying on vendor, relying on operator, relying on some technical standards. So all those things comes under the two things, that is IG and CERT. So these two people is going to take care about all the users' data, whether the data can be taken by any activist or by any organization. That is what they are going to monitor. If anything happens, we are going to give a complaints against that activist or against that organization. Then they are going to in turn taking the action. This is what the thing we discussed in the last class. So today's class we are going to discuss about the topic cyber security challenges and constraints. This is what we are going to discuss today. So I will give some outline about the today's topic, and then we are going to see elaborate. So challenges and constraints. So before getting into that, guys, am I audible again? Is there any flaw?
Yes, sir,
Distortion?
you're audible, sir.
Audible. Yeah. Thanks for your response. Uh, then challenges and constraints available under cyberspace. That is what we are going to discuss. So, what are the possible threats available first, and how we are going to protect against that threats? That is what the securable thing. We are going to secure ourselves and our own data under cyberspace. So how we are going to protect that data, that we already discussed? We want to strengthen our security policies. We want to strengthen our security architecture. There are so many things we discussed under how to secure data. But after securing your data with those listed item checklist, also we are facing some issues. That is what we are call it as a challenges. So how maybe we applied all those things to protect our data. Some more points also we want to strengthen in order to protect our data. That is what we are going to discuss today: cyber security challenges. So what are the challenges you as a individual person or an organization head or any CEO, DEO, anything maybe, how you are going to protect your data? That is what the cyber security challenges. There are 5 challenges available under cyber security. So the first one, ransomware evaluation. Then next one, blockchain revolution. Then third one, IoT threats. Then fourth one, AI expansion. And last one, serverless apps vulnerability. So we are going to discuss one by one. The first one, ransomware evolution. So what it means actually we discussed about what is ransomware. So ransomware means some attacks possible from the outside. They are going to take all your data. That is what we discussed under ransomware. So once this ransomware comes into the picture, most of the organization in the sense both governmental organization, non-governmental, that is private organizations also facing the most vulnerable issues. In India, not at all affected by the ransomware, but most of the grown-up countries attacked with this ransomware. So the solution for ransomware is the ultimate end is we want to take the backup in a day-to-day basis and keep it in the another machine. That is what the thing. Or you can take a backup in any form, because backup in the sense most probably we take up in the older days we can take up in CD, DVD, Blu-ray disc. Nowadays we are using flash drive, thumb drive. We are using. So day-to-day basis we want to take a backup of our data as an individual or as a head of any organization. So once your machine gets attacked, you are already having the backup in some other place, maybe the flash drive or thumb drive, you are having your own data. So if your machine or some XYZ person machine gets attacked by this ransomware, you don't want to worry anything about all, because you already having the backup. So if any attack happens with the help of the ransomware, if any threat call also came to you regarding the release of your own data, you don't want to worry about that. You don't want to bother about that. That is what the solution. That is the challenge in front of us is ransomware evaluation, and the solution for this is as a part of the challenge we can follow this solution at all, because every time it is not possible at all, because if you are running a organization, for example, if you are a owner of one IT sector, any famous company you are having, means it is very tough to take backup on day to day life, though they are following the backup, but it is very tough to maintain a day to day basis backup, because they take the backup, they will take the backup for today session. So once it is completed, they forward the same backup to the tomorrow session, and in turn they delete all those things because of the space. Then the next day, all the sessions gets recorded and taken up in the backup form. So on that basis only they are taking the backup. So if you want to store all the things, then it is very tough to maintain. So if they are following, or if you are following, means you can get prevent yourself and your data from the ransomware attack. Guys, are you clear about the first challenge?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Then we are moving to the second challenge, that is blockchain revolution. So anyone heard about the word blockchain? Because we already discussed about ransomware. So I already started. So anybody heard about the word blockchain? Anyone studied? Students, please respond.
No, sir.
Others say yes or no.
No, sir.
No. So you didn't heard about the word blockchain still. Yeah. Then I will explain. So what is the meaning of this blockchain? Means it's a part of our older tradition or former tradition, because in older days, that's before the invention of this money at all, maybe coins and the paper, that is rupees. Before invention, we followed the transaction basis. That is, we are going to give one thing to get one thing. If you want to get a 1 kg of rice, we are going to give 1 kg of vegetables to the vendor or to the seller. That is what the transactional basis. So the same procedure we are going to follow for this blockchain. What it is means, in the older days, there is no brokerage or intermediate person at all in between two persons. If I require anything, I am going to give one thing and going to get back another thing. The same thing only going to happen in this blockchain. So instead of some things, we are having Bitcoin. That is, we call that as a cryptocurrencies. So we are having cryptocurrencies. If I am having cryptocurrencies, you are having cryptocurrencies, means just like our money. We are going to, I mean, we both only having to do the transaction without any broker at all. That is what the aim to have this blockchain. Hello, I heard some disturbance. Any questions, Pa? Okay, fine. I will proceed. So this is the arrival of the blockchain. This is a small introduction about this. So how the attack happens here means, because there is no broker at all. If there is a broker available, there is a possibility of attack. But the thing is, in the Bitcoin itself, that is in the cryptocurrency itself, most of the vulnerabilities happening nowadays. Maybe you can heard the word Bitcoin, I guess, because before 6 months, I guess, before 6 months, the government, our Indian government, bans all Bitcoins. There is a separate ATM machine also for this Bitcoin, that is cryptocurrencies at all. But Bitcoin is not equal to our Indian money. That is, for 1 rupee, there is non-availability of one Bitcoin. There is no availability of one Bitcoin, because you want to purchase with the more money to get one Bitcoin. So there are so many phishing activities happen. So in turn, our government prevents all those Bitcoin transactions, because most of the cryptocurrency transactions taken care by the Chinese people or the country China. So China is a very famous country for this vulnerable attacks. So that the blockchain concepts also came from that country only. So our government prevents the transactions using this cryptocurrencies. That is what the blockchain revolution. Though there are so many advantages, we are also having much disadvantages in blockchain. Then the third challenges. So guys, if you want any clarification, the second one, shall I move to the third challenge?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks for your response. Then the next one is IoT threats. So Internet of Things, that is what the IoT. IoT threats means IoT is also a good one or good thing or good sign for information age community peoples. Then how come the attacks? or how come the challenges means IoT is going to act on the basis of the sensors. Sensors going to sense all the data, and in turn, they are going to insist you about the relevancy. Example, if you very cloudy or rainy at outside, if you are keeping your AC air conditioner at 16 degrees, then it will insist you outside there is rainy, so please raise your temperature. So this is what they are going to insist you. Then second thing, your fridge going to speak with you that your this vegetables, this particular vegetables going to rotten in the next day or today. Like that, the machine going to talk with you. So how comes means you are always connected with the internet, some Bluetooth connectivity also. So you are always having a connection. Each and every machine, not at all, it's purely meant for computer. It's also meant for any machine because you are using sensors and you are going to connect that same thing to the internet. So all the machines have the unique ID. So once this internet protocol, that is IP address, comes into the picture, the unique ID, we call that as IP, that is IP address. Once the IP address comes into the picture or comes into the picture, then the attacks are more possible because I can change the IP address of anyone and then I will do any manipulations or malfunction at all. That is what the IoT threats, because every day, every minute, every second, myself use you and the machines or get connected, interconnected with everyone. So we cannot judge the threats wherever it comes. That is what the IoT threats. Then I'm moving to the fourth one, AI expansion. That is artificial intelligence expansion. Nowadays, we are moving to the last generation of our computers, that is artificial intelligence. In turn, smart systems or robotics in simple. So, uh, robotics in the sense we are not, I'm not going to specifically tell that it is a humanoid robot. Not at all. Nowadays, we are also using drone communication. Maybe Tamil Nadu peoples and other state peoples also in the news. You can see that for the Corona lockdown, most of the police uses this drone for searching the people who are wandering around or who are roaming around the streets. So the next thing we are going to face is the drone delivery. Most of the countries started, but in India, it's going to yet to arrive. So drone delivery, instead of delivering the thing or delivering the package via human, it is also possible to deliver the same thing using drone. The purpose of using this drone delivery is without the intervention of humans. Maybe some places humans cannot intervene. Example, in the border. If there are any war happening in the border, the human, another human cannot intervene, but the drone, in turn, it is possible. And if any natural calamities happens in that place, humans cannot be go and search and go and take all the responsibilities in the remote places. But in turn, the drone will. So the next thing we are looking forward is drone deliveries. That is what. So robotics is not only humanoid robots, it's also a drone. Okay. So in future, we are going to looking forward these items. Moving to the next generations, that is to the information age from new age, there are also threats available because maybe most of the state people seen the movie Endran, I guess. Have you seen that? Endran Robot. Have you seen that movie? In Tamil Nadu, it is Endran. In other state, it is Robots.
Yes, sir.
Students, have you seen that? So in that, one professor changed the chip of the good robot, good humanoid robot, and after that, it behaves like a bad robot, and at last the hero can rescue all those things. That is what we watched in that movie. The same thing only. Though we are moving to that drone communication, drone delivery, humanoid robots, there is a possibility to change the chips, that is IC, whatever available with that humanoid robot and in the drone. It's possible. So that is what the biggest challenge in AI expansion, because the machine, according to McCarthy, he utters one word: science and technology nowadays moving to build intelligent machine, in turn intelligent computer system. That is what the McCarthy told. So according to him, we are nowadays creating so many humanoid robots, drones, but we are feeding the data. As a human, we have inborn qualities. So we are not going to teach a fish to swim. We are not going to teach the baby to do something. Maybe some cases you can teach, that is the good habits, bad habits, but most of the time, babies itself by own, they are going to do some things. So that is called the inborn quality. But in the machine, there is no such facility, such cases at all. If you are creating one machine, you are going to fed up all the data. Maybe the languages data you want to fed up, the programming data, programming part you want to do, the problem solving analytics part you want to fed up. So all the things you are only going to fed up. Without any engine, without any accelerator, the car cannot move, bike cannot move. Because wheel has no capability of thinking of its own. If they want to think, you want to feed all the data. So that feeding of data becomes a vulnerable. If you are feeding a misinterpreted data, then it is going to act as a vulnerable thing. That is what the challenges in AI expansion. Guys, are you able to follow me? Can I move to the next one? This is the last one.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for your response. And at last, the last part is serverless apps vulnerability. So the listed ransomware, blockchain, IoT, AI expansion, all among this, the last part is the very important part, that is serverless apps vulnerability. It means whatever the data nowadays we are having in our Gmail, this email, and in Google Drive also, because Google provides the email facility and some storage facility also as well. So in that storage facility, we are storing most of the data. Maybe in our mobile also we are using Google Drive. In our laptop, desktop also we are using Google Drive and that Gmail also. So serverless app vulnerability means we are not going to install anything in our machine or in our mobile. In turn, we are going to use that, we are going to enjoy all the sophisticated infrastructure without installing anything into your machine. That is what the serverless app vulnerability. It means serverless app. We cannot have a proper server. Server in the sense in our machine. We are going to borrow the same thing from the cloud. There are so many cloud providers at all. That is CSP, cloud service providers. The famous one is nowadays it is Amazon. Previously it is IBM Cloud Service. But recently the AWS comes into the picture. That is Amazon Web Service. So AWS is the leading cloud service provider nowadays. So with the help of this AWS and then IBM Cloud Service, we are going to save our data cloud itself, and we are going to retrieve it also in future, but without using any softwares or any application. For example, I am telling, most probably you use the online compilers, online interpreters for any programming languages. So what is the work of that means? You are going to open up the URL, and after that you are going to type your program and getting your result. So we are not supposed to know that all the programming we entered, all the output we are seeing is also monitored by that particular URL. So what we are doing means we are using that online compiler because we are not going to install anything. For example, if you want to execute the Python program, you want to install the latest version of the Python, maybe 3.7 or 3.8 or any 3.x, because 3.x is the recent thing. So 3.x version you want to install it in your machine around. It will take 35 MB. So instead, if you are using any online interpreters, for example, I am telling onlinegdb.com. So in that onlinegdb.com, we can run our Python program. That is, we can interpret our Python program. But what will happen here means your program can be stolen by that URL. That is what the main case we want to taken into account. So there are so many things available because in cloud there are three types of clouds available, and three types of providers also available. I'm not going much deeper into that. The main thing is they are giving one thing, that is infrastructure as a service. We can call that as a IaaS. That is IaaS, infrastructure as a service. So here, what is the main thing they are going to do means, without any installation, you are going to use all those facilities. For example, I am telling right now, you want to design a brochure, a poster for your departmental conference or departmental seminar, workshop, anything maybe. That particular work can be taken by or taken care of you by maybe 10 days, or hardly it took a month, only 1 month. For a single month, if you want to purchase the original version of Adobe Photoshop or maybe any other softwares, it is a high cost thing. After a month or after a week, you are not going to use that particular software. So in those case, you are going to make a rent of the software. That is, you are going to ask the CSP to rent that software for a particular duration. So that particular company going to provide that software for a particular duration. After that is, once the duration comes in, it will automatically disconnect from your machine. For that only you are going to pay. For example, for a month only you are going to pay. Consider for buying the software for example 10,000 rupees. Instead, you can rent the software for the month for a month for 1,000 rupees means it's a very cost effective for you as a organization head or as an individual. So we are going to use or we are going to rely on that only instead of spending a huge amount. That is what the serverless app vulnerability. So if we are purchasing, if we are using or enjoying the serverless apps, most probably that installation process, that malware get attached to your machine, because if you are downloading and installing it to your machine, vulnerability also happening without any installation. I mean, without any downloading and installation also, that particular vulnerability comes into your machine because you are accessing the portions available under cloud. So cloud is the biggest thing. So most of the people not, I mean, working under IT sector or IT known people don't say the personal. I am telling you about the sensitive data, not the every data. Sensitive data are not stored or shared by those people. Most of the IT people share their data through the local server only, not with the help of the internet because of this vulnerability. So this is what the serverless vulnerability. With this, I will conclude the session. So up to this, the security challenges and constraints gets over. So tomorrow we are going to see the fresh topic, that is cyber threats. So up to this, students having any queries, any doubts? Else I will go for the summarization. If you have any queries, means you can ask.
No doubts.
No queries at all. Okay. So with this, I am moving to the next thing as per our Ajanta, that is summarization. So we started our third topic under unit number 1, that is cyber security challenges and constraints. So there are 5 challenges in front of us to protect ourselves and our own data. The first challenge is ransomware evolution and blockchain revolution, then IoT threats, and the fourth one AI expansion, and fifth one serverless app vulnerability. So in brief, ransomware evaluation, we are our own data going to steal or stolen by any third party, then that third party going to threaten via call to make a payment in order to release the sensitive data. That is what ransomware evaluation. So to prevent that thing, we are going to make a backup of our data on a day-to-day basis. That is what the solution. Then the second thing, blockchain revolution. So blockchain revolution means we are going to make a transaction one-to-one basis using the cryptocurrencies, that is Bitcoin. There is no brokerage at all, but in order to purchase that cryptocurrencies or Bitcoin, there are so many vulnerabilities, that is phishing happening. Then the third challenge is IoT threats. So Internet of Things get going to bring all the machines and humans under one umbrella with the help of the unique ID, that is IP address. So IP addresses in turn going to give or face some vulnerability threats in the internet. So we want to protect, or we want to take care about that sensors also. That is what. Then the fourth challenge is AI expansion. In turn, artificial expansion, that is humanoid robots and drones. So feeding of data is the main thing. If we feed the good type of data, it will react as a good humanoid or good drone, or else it will fed up to some vulnerability attacks. And the last one, serverless apps vulnerability. We are using the apps without installing into our machine. So during that, whatever the thing you are performing under online or in that application, they are all going to take up your data, or in turn they are going to steal your data. So that is also one of the biggest challenges. So this is what the entire challenges under cyberspace. So with this, I will conclude the session, and I will go for the last, that is attendance at the end. So I will stop the sharing, and I will stop the recording as well.